Good evening, everybody. So tonight on our Yarns from the Farm, I have Libby Tosswill from Central Hawke's Bay. So welcome, Libby. So Libby is from a...
Hi, how are you, Laura?
Oh, we've got a really good delay, haven't we? So I'm going to get good with my pauses tonight, I think. So Libby, you are from a 1,300 hectare sheep and beef farm just between Waipakarau and Porongahau. And you've got 3 wonderful young boys and a bit of a dynamic duo on farm with you and your husband, Ben.
It's me.
Yeah, that's you. Good. So you were all on farm during lockdown. How did you find being in lockdown on the farm with the busyness of the kids and everything that was going on for you guys?
Yeah, do you know, overall, I thought, I have never been so grateful to live in a place with access to space, to be honest. We actually had a really wonderful family time, and we were very fortunate that we were able to do that. Homeschooling was really, really busy, but I was fortunate to not have a significant workload over lockdown. And I think something that, talking to lots of different friends on farms and in cities, is everyone had a really different experience. I've got friends who are holding down, 2 full-time jobs with preschoolers who had a totally different experience. And yeah, it definitely depended on the age and stage, I think. But overall, we spend a lot of time out on the farm, a lot of time checking predator traps, and a lot of time, as a family, which was I'm grateful for, actually.
So you just mentioned predator traps there. So I'm going to roll straight into that, actually, because it's a bit of a passion of yours, isn't it? Maintaining predators and also enhancing all the bird life on your farm.
Yes, it is. It is my passion project. We're very fortunate here at Birch Hill that we have 350 hectares of native bush, and we've got one main pocket and lots of other pockets of bush. And we have worked with the regional council through their program, and we're now possum free. So now we're working on the next level down of predators to try and enhance that bird life. And we find it really, really satisfying, actually. And we're seeing a real difference since we've rolled out our program.
So your predator program actually must be quite an interesting concept for the people who come to visit your farm through your glamping site, because I know you give them access to walk around the farm, experience the farm life, and just the general environment that they don't necessarily get the opportunity to experience otherwise. So can you tell us a little bit about the glamping experience that you offer?
Yes, sure. We set up a glamping site 5 years ago on the farm, on this beautiful, secluded and sheltered part of the farm with really magnificent views of the countryside. And we set it up for a few reasons, really. One is a side business, some diversification, but also because we have a really strong value about sharing our farm and sharing the land with people. And we firmly believe, anyone who, say, works here, this is their farm while they live here. And we're really blessed to, share lives with people. And we feel the same about glampers, that they can come here and they can unplug and reconnect with their families and their friends, and that they also have access to the farm. We have 15 kilometres of walking tracks that are fully fenced on the farm, and we really want them to come out, share the farm with them. They can connect with Birch Hill, and we've got the Mangarara stream that runs through the property, and beautiful bush and bird life. And we also want to show them, if they're interested, if they're interested, they can see what we are doing as well.
So, and the glamping site is off grid, isn't it? But there's amazing fire in one of the tents. I've been lucky enough to come and have a look around your glamping site. And it really is beautiful with the amazing beds and the big fireplace. And it's just even seems like it would be quite cozy even now, actually.
Yes, and we actually do have 2 bookings this weekend. So we've got people in there tonight and tomorrow night, and then another group coming through on the weekend. Yes, we have got a wonderful setup over there. We've got this beautiful wooden framed safari tent with a wood burning fire in there. That does get really cozy, and so it's good for people who are, more adventurous at this time of year before we close for winter. And we have a fully enclosed sort of lounging kitchen dining area and a big outdoor fire pit, an outdoor bath, a beautiful outdoor bush shower with sort of jungle vines growing through it, as well as all your indoor amenities, the flushing toilet, the indoor bathroom and shower, and everything like that. And so we've really gone for solar power, and we have these really great solar powered lanterns and hooks all through the ceiling, so you can set up, whatever lighting you want and be off grid for a few days. And it's really cool. And gas infinity, water, and all the comforts with none of the hassle is what we go for. No one is getting divorced at our glamp site, setting up the tent when they arrive.
And some absolutely stunning views as well. Really beautiful views.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about a dark zone in terms of the stars, and we have our own dark zone. When you're sitting out there in front of the fire with a glass of wine or toasting a marshmallow and you look up, it is just magnificent.
That's fantastic. So just moving on from your glamping site, I know you've been doing some pretty exciting things recently in terms of your development and some recent projects. And that was through the Agri-Women's Development Trust. But you came across their courses a while back, actually, didn't you, when you came back from London?
I did. Wonderful friend of mine introduced me to them. And I came back from a career in finance to living on the farm, and we were starting a family. And I guess I did wonder where I fitted in this, as a fish out of water, really, having never lived in the country before. I was brought up in Wellington. And so I just, signed up to one of these courses that are run by the Agri-Women's Development Trust. And I was absolutely blown away by how much I learned. So one was about understanding your farming business. And I thought, I'm pretty business savvy, but walked away from that with a whole, completely opened my eyes and allowed me to be much more of an integral part of the business, a critical farming partner, which was awesome for me and Ben and the farm, because they often talk about farming being, a business partnership and a love story under the same roof. And I think it's really unique, and it allowed us to really capitalize on, bringing all our skills to the table. And then I went on and did the All About You course, which was fantastic. And then last year, I was selected to do Escalator, which is their year-long leadership and governance course with 14 other New Zealand women.
So you've obviously learned a great amount about yourself, about your business, but I think possibly from the last course, one of the biggest things you've obviously taken away is this sense of community amongst other like-minded women, and an amazing passion for the same things and the same belief in the farming, the agricultural system, the food growth system that we have here in New Zealand.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I just think there is so much incredible talent out there across our entire primary sector and everyone who supports it. And yeah, it was really a privilege last year to spend a year with these other 14 women across all parts of the primary sector. We had, wine and climate research, avocados, MPI, beef and lamb international marketers, vets, soil specialists, as well as sheep, beef, dairy, cropping farmers. Yeah, and just that diversity of thought is such a strength, and I really thrived on that. And I will, these women, it's a special relationship that you form, and I think we will be there to support each other and bounce ideas around probably for the rest of my life. It was amazing.
And then since lockdown, you've further developed that passion with each other and just launched a new initiative.
We have. We've launched Together We Grow NZ, which is at Instagram. And what happened, Laura, is we were having Zoom meetings throughout lockdown and just comparing stories and where we were at. And I guess we're all in the food business, but I guess it was front of mind that for a lot of people in New Zealand, and for us, certainly, it was the first time the shelves had ever been empty. And it just made us think, gosh, we're part of the food chain in New Zealand. But, for a lot of Kiwis, it would have been the first time they'd thought, where does our food come from? And they would have been hearing about essential workers, in the food industry. And we just felt we had this wonderful opportunity because there were 15 of us from across the board, from, everywhere in the sector, to actually put something together to say, this is where it comes from and this is what we're doing. We're working really, really hard and, for you and for us, and that we're all in this together, and that actually we're all the same. We're growing, but we're all putting food on the table at the end of the day. So we self-funded. We had this idea, and we landed on. We wanted to make a video for people to see, and we self-funded it. And most of it was filmed on farm and on people's phones during lockdown.
Yeah.
And then it was put together, and we put it out. And our worst case scenario was that no one would see it and no one would care. But we've had a really amazing 20,000 views, and a lot of people do care. And so we're rolling from there.
So I suppose it's a tricky question, where to from here, but you're kind of hoping that it might be a little bit of a platform as well to tell some more stories off farm and about where our food comes from.
Yes, absolutely. We're working on that at the moment, but what our vision is really is that it does become that platform and that safe space for that storytelling, and to showcase the wonderful things that farmers and growers in New Zealand are doing, and to celebrate that, and to build that relationship further with the consumer, so that they can actually see, who is doing it, and we can actually showcase the individuals and the businesses that are doing that. So
yeah, and
so that's what we're aiming for, really.
And so brilliant, not just across New Zealand, actually, in reality, across the whole world. I think it's really quite important right now to show where New Zealand food comes from, and the amazing diversity of produce we can actually produce in this country, that everybody else experiences outside New Zealand as well.
Yes, and I completely agree with that. And I think, because of the way the COVID crisis has been handled in New Zealand, we've actually got this incredible profile at the moment as well. And, it does say in our video, we produce enough food to feed 40 million people in New Zealand. And we have this enormous, we are already producing, some of the best, sustainable, ethically produced food in the world. And there is this huge opportunity to continue to share that story, with the world, and to be that high value rather than high volume producer of the best food in the world. And we're so lucky that as Kiwis, and we all saw this throughout lockdown, we had access to it, but we provide enough for us, and we can share that and share those stories everywhere.
So if people want to have a look at that initiative and the video in particular, because it really is, it's a fantastic little introductory video. So they would go to Together We Grow New Zealand on its Facebook and Instagram, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's where you'd go.
Lovely. I will post that up again afterwards as well. But I've asked all of my guests, Libby, what if they've got any things that they're particularly grateful for living in rural New Zealand and in the amazing lifestyle that we have the opportunity to enjoy. What would be the things that you would very much feel grateful for with the lifestyle that you live?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question, Laura. You know, number one would have to be nature on my doorstep and bringing up our kids with that as well. And that's grown to mean more to me, I think, over the years, especially as sometimes it takes a while to adapt to, for country living, but that is key for me now. I've probably got two more big ones, really. Number two is that community that has been talked about on your show quite a lot. I really feel like, people don't move. You're here for the long term, and there's a really wonderful diversity and acceptance of all the, eccentricities that come along with that. And the other aspect to that, I believe, is, when you're here for the long term, life happens. And, the hard things in life happen over a lifetime. There's no avoiding that. And, I've seen personally in our family and many other for friends and families around here, when hard times come, the rural community absolutely wraps around that family and has your back. And the support I've seen is phenomenal. Another great example of that at the moment is the Hawke's Bay Drought page set up by Poppy Renton, and how that shone a spotlight on the plight of Hawke's Bay farmers and how not just their community, but the wider rural community has really come to the party and supporting. So I think that community thing's huge. And that was new for me. That was new for me. And the last one, I think, is actually, it probably links in with everything with me, but is actually the opportunity. Living rurally, I've had the opportunity to get involved with things I never would have, be it local committees where all skills are needed. I think, having that opportunity to be the custodians of the land, and, farmers do think intergenerationally, and they all want to leave their land better than they found it for the future. And so I think that having that opportunity to make a difference is really cool. And then I guess the last thing is that COVID has really shown us how important food security is. And I think, and I guess Together We Grow builds into this, but I feel like there's really exciting opportunities across the primary sector for our generation, but also for young people and people looking for a second change. There's so much, progress and opportunity coming through, and we're going to have to continue feeding the world. So I feel like the future is really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually just had a comment put up saying some wise words, and that they love the rural support as well. So I think that's probably a fantastic way to end, because you had some amazing points there, Libby, and very much, highlighted some of the potential silver linings that we might come out of coronavirus with, really, just because we are shining a spotlight on rural New Zealand and the amazing initiatives that are coming out of this, like Together We Grow. Hopefully we'll take that forward to not only New Zealand but the world. So thank you very much for telling us all about that.
Oh, thank you, Laura, for the opportunity to tell you.
So thank you very much for coming on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening with the kids. They did very well not coming in.
They did. A small miracle. I have a great husband who barred the door. Okay.
Thank you, Libby.